Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tampa Take. My name is Chuck Vonchel. We're here to talk about Tampa Bay area sports. It's something that's near and dear to my heart. In fact, it's probably a bit of an effort to therapy, what this is going to wind up being, because of some of the pain that I have inflicted upon myself and had inflicted upon me by the Rays, the Lightning, the Bucs over the years. This is going to be a Buccaneer-centric conversation. They just lost to the Buffalo Bills yesterday, 44-32, to drop their overall record to 6-4. A little silver lining, they do still have a half-game lead on the Carolina Panthers in the NFC South, so there's some good news. Other good news, despite being down a half dozen offensive starters, they were able to rush for over 200 yards. They were able to put up 32 points. They were able to move the ball pretty effectively. The defense and special teams, so 2/3 of a triumvirate good football team, what you would hope to have, did not really perform thusly. The special teams gave up multiple long kick returns, resulting in short field after short field for a guy that doesn't really need it in Josh Allen, the reigning NFL MVP. Well, if yesterday's output is anything to glean from, Josh Allen might be a back-to-back MVP candidate because he scored 6 touchdowns, or at least accounted for them, 3 in the air, 3 carrying it into the end zone himself. Only 3 times in the history of the NFL has that happened. Josh Allen accounts for 2 of them. So, while the Buccaneers defense left a lot to be desired, there were multiple wide open receivers on some very gadgety-like plays that the Buffalo Bills were running. At the end of the day, 44 points is still 44 points, which is astounding given the fact that the Bills actually turned the ball over 3 times. They fumbled a kick return, and Josh Allen threw 2 interceptions, one in his own 10-yard line. The other was on a 4th down later in the first half. And yet still, they were able to put up 44 points against the Bucs defense. So, when your special teams all season long has been an issue, your defense, you never really know what you're going to get if you're not playing the New Orleans Saints. And the offense is still a shadow of its former self, given the fact that there's very few wide receivers open to catch passes. You don't really expect to be able to go up against the likes of the NFL's best. So when you talk about the Detroit Lions, when you talk about the New England Patriots, when you talk about the Buffalo Bills, these are bona fide teams. These are teams with great records, teams that you expect to be in the playoffs, teams that had either had previously or have currently, in the case of the Patriots, Super Bowl aspirations. It's not to make excuses for the Bucs, but as a fan, I think I have to lower my expectations going forward this year. That's not to say that I don't expect the Bucs to win the division. I think they've probably still got the best chance of doing that. That's not to say I don't think that the Bucs are going to miss the playoffs. I think they're probably going to make the playoffs. But as they are constructed right now, given the fact that we're missing a Kalijah Kancey and a Hassan Reddick on defense, that we're playing backup left and right guards, that we're down our basically rookie all-star in Bucky Irving. We're missing Mike Evans. We're missing Chris Godwin. We're missing Jalen McMillan. I love Tez Johnson. I love the idea of a 7th-rounder making an impact, but he is not a number 2 wide receiver right now in his career. Cam Johnson, he's caught 2 passes on the season. Sterling Shepard, no one's afraid of Sterling Shepard. They're not afraid of getting beaten deep by Sterling Shepard. They're not trying to wrap their defense around him. So all they have to do is double, maybe even triple the defense on Emeka Egbuka. And now what's Baker Mayfield supposed to do?
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
It all adds up to a situation that Bucs fans are pretty familiar with from last year when Mike Evans and Chris Godwin both went down in the Baltimore Ravens game, and then you were left with essentially an offense that featured Cade Otton as the number 1 target downfield. It's really tough for that offensive staff, this group of skill position players right now, to make a difference that'll overcompensate for our defensive inefficiencies. Now, does that mean that it's going to be woe is us for the rest of the year? I don't think so. I think that you are going to get some of these targets back. I think at some point Chris Godwin is going to play, and probably more effectively than a Cam Johnson or a Sterling Shepard. I think at some point the team does seem to think that Jalen McMillan is going to be able to play football. Is that going to be in time for the playoffs? Maybe. Now, I've never had my neck broken and strained the way that he did. So I don't want to be playing doctor here on the internet to try and say, Jalen should be fine. I mean, they said it was only going to be an 8-week injury back in the preseason. It's not what I'm doing. But the team seems to want us to think that he's coming back this year, and I hope he does. Mike Evans could come back for a playoff run. So if they can just figure out a way to get to 10 or 11 wins, maybe there could be reinforcements on the way for this team. Ben Bredesen is eventually going to come back from his hamstring strain. Bucky Irving, hopefully only a week or two away. And now suddenly you've got a very dynamic run-pass option in multiple backs, whether you're talking about Sean Tucker or Rashad White or Bucky Irving. I think for Bucs fans, you have to lean into the optimism. I know that losing streaks suck. I know that losing 3 of 4, and with the Rams coming up next Sunday night, probably 4 of 5. Now, of course, they don't have Josh Allen at quarterback. That's not to throw any shade at Matthew Stafford, but Matthew Stafford is not the run-pass threat that Josh Allen is. Just saying, it could make the defense's lives that much easier. So, frustration for Bucs fans. You're looking from the very start of this season to the injury bug nipping us and David Walker going down. You wonder, could he be making a difference as an outside pass rusher right now with the injuries that we're dealing with? As soon as in week 2 against the Houston Texans, Kalijah Kancey goes down, it immediately lowers the ceiling for this Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense. He was a guy that you were counting on for interior pressure, someone to pair with Vita Vea and help you get pressure with only 4 pass rushers. Well, Elijah Roberts, who knows? He could develop into a great NFL player. Logan Hall, he can make the occasional play, but neither one is Kalijah Kancey. And now that you're missing Hassan Reddick, I love Anthony Nelson to death. Every time he gets on the field, he seems to make a play or 2, but he's just not a guy that you can regularly expect high-end pass rush from. Great run stuffer, but eventually NFL teams are trying to beat you through the air. And against the Bucs defense, with varying looks and defensive ends and outside linebackers down the field and pass coverage, there's a lot of film out there that's giving offensive coordinators reason to believe that there are plays and plays aplenty to be made against Todd Bowles' defense. I don't think the sky is falling. I think this is still a very talented defensive secondary, albeit a young one. You talk about Benjamin Morrison. You talk about Jacob Parrish. You talk about Tyke Smith, second year in the league, first year playing a drop back safety, still making great plays. But the point being that this is a team that's trying to learn as they go. And that also affects the special teams. If you think about it, it's a rather young roster that's been dealing with injuries. So as young guys get moved up the depth charts on offense and defense, that lowers their snap counts on special teams. Now you've got even less experienced players manning the punt, kickoff returns, the punt blocks, the kick blocks, all of these situations. And it starts to make sense why the Buccaneers would have had so many negative plays on special teams. Can they get better? Can they stay healthy? Can they keep the guys that they have on the field and get the guys they've lost back into the fold? That's why we're going to wait and have to see what happens. It's a Monday right now. We won't really know much about the injury situation going forward until Wednesday at the earliest. I hope to come back and do a preview of the Bucs and Rams game coming up this Sunday night. Otherwise, it's been a great chat with you. I appreciate your listening, helping me get some stuff off my chest as a fan of Tampa Bay sports. Next time, maybe we'll talk a little bit about the Lightning as well. Fortunately, the Rays are in their offseason right now, so they can't hurt us. So we'll wrap this up and say, God bless. Look forward to talking to you again next time here on the Tampa Take.